years, you know.
Yeah. Okay, we've got a question, and it's a pretty good one. So I'm going to go on and pull this up. So, hey, I want to hook up with my neighbor. She's a mom in her 30s. I'm 31. She's 37. We've texted a couple of times, mostly about things related to the apartment complex. We live in a small building. There's a cost to rejection, so how do you play this? Ask her out, hope she invites me to her apartment. I think the problem is that I'm trying to be too witty when I see her in passing, like the show topic is. Yeah. We actually get this question a lot.
Proximity builds attraction.
Yeah.
Can he say, does he know if she has a boyfriend? I'm taking
No.
it like everything's clear here. And it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I would simply say.
He just wants to hook up with her. So why would you ask her for a date?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It may not happen organically. You know, you can't just like say, hey, you want to come over? Yeah, I mean, you can say, hey, especially with them, you say, hey, you want to come over for some wine?
Yeah.
You know, and that may be what you need to keep an eye out for is like a Friday or Saturday evening where you're both in the area.
Yeah.
Or actually, hell, any night would be better.
Yeah.
You know, any night that you see the logistics are good to throw out the bait.
Well, you know, when the kid's not with her, when the kid's at her dad's.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how old the child is. Yeah. That's a big deal. Yeah. Because the chances for a single mom of her actually not being able to due to logistics is high.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a lot of, but I would wait for the right setup, but have your shit together.
Yeah.
Have wine, have whatever you have. That way, when the day comes, you can pull the trigger that, you know, within that 12 hours.
Exactly.
That's what I would say.
Well, and if you think that you're trying too hard, you most certainly are. Because guys vastly underestimate that kind of calibration in their lives, which is why less is more, which is why they, you know, all the things that Forrest said on the front end, where like if you shoot for 20 to 30% less,
yes,
then you might be hitting it right.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing. If you think you're going too hard, you most certainly are. You're trying too hard. You're going out too much.
And one thing I'm going to warn you about here is when you have proximity and you have attraction, you still have an expiration date.
Yeah.
You have a window because she may end up with a boyfriend and then everything's over. And I say that because, you know, you need to recognize that any attraction is temporary. You need to take advantage. If you're in the right place at the right time, you need to pull the trigger sooner than later.
Yeah.
And if she says, no, I got a boyfriend or I'm married or whatever, you go, oh, okay. And then you never, ever bring it up again.
Yeah.
You treat her exactly as you did a minute before you asked her out. That way it's not weird. You recover quickly. And then you have the opportunity down the road.
Yeah.
Don't burn your bridge, especially with, you know, a girl that's an unknown quantity. The chances of her coming back around are usually pretty good.
Right.
You know, as long as you just take it like a man. And girls will even talk about, like, they'll be like, yeah, I thought you took that rejection really well.
Yeah.
And now they're like naked in your bed.
Right.
You know, that matters.
It makes a big difference.
But I want to convey to you, and I do it all the time, you know, fuck her now. And she could gain 30 pounds this year. She could get a face tattoo. She'd get pregnant again. You know, when you're in the right place at the right time, you need to start pulling that trigger automatically.
Well, and if she's responding to your kind of flirtation a little bit, then you need to act on it, because otherwise she'll be like, I guess he wasn't interested because I was kind of flirting with him.
And that can flip like a switch.
Yeah. So then she's just like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
And she'll, you know.
You'll feel it when you see her the next time.
Yeah.
After she flips that switch, it's very hard to turn back on.
Now, the flip side of that also is it's kind of like shit where you eat. It's kind of like fucking coworkers. It gets really tricky if you're just wanting to like fuck this girl, hit it and quit it. Even if you're wanting a relationship with her, if things go south, if she doesn't, you know, doesn't take the bait, if she isn't interested, if she's dating someone, any of these things, Now you're living right next to someone that you see pretty often that gets really weird really fast. So it's kind of like, I mean, we do caution against proximity fucking and work fucking for this exact reason. We've done podcast after podcast on it. We've talked to consults about this. Like, it still does get a little bit tricky.
If you're a player, most players end up banging almost everyone around her.
Yeah.
Generally. And if she does say no, what she will see is you with a different girl every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. But players tend to, it does get messy. I mean, make no mistake about it. The guys that really get into trouble are guys that don't actually mess around a lot.
Yeah.
And then like bang a coworker and then it goes south and they're like, it's a mess.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're a player, the fact that you take the rejection, okay, or like you guys bang and then she gets a boyfriend and you take it in stride. She might be back in the future.
Yeah.
Then she sees you with another girl the next day.
Turns her on even more.
Yeah, it's just part of the game.
Yeah.
So a lot of it has to do with like where your game level is, you know.
And I think you make a good point in that if you bang this girl, make sure you keep bringing girls home. I mean, you're not mentioning any other girls in this question, Sam, but I'm assuming that you've got kind of a revolving door. I'm hoping so, because then that turns her on. She doesn't fear that you're trying to like lock her into a relationship. It was just like a fun fling and everybody enjoyed themselves.
Everybody benefits.
Everybody had fun. She can come back around if she's, you know, lonely one night or wants to, you know.
And she knows that you're not going to freak if she shows up with a boyfriend.
Exactly. It's a win-win. So, hope that it helps answer your question.
That's the real deal.
That's the real deal.
I have to say that so I know where to edit these things.
You're such a